Every morning, before I even brush my teeth, I do something that guarantees I'll never stay broke again. It's not a secret handshake, it's not crypto, and it's not some shady hustle. It's a habit so simple most people roll their eyes at it, and that's exactly why they stay stuck. If you feel like money slips through your fingers no matter how hard you work, stay with me. Because once you start doing this every single day, staying poor stops being an option. Most people think money is just about how much you earn. They believe if they could just get that raise, or win a little jackpot, everything would change. But you've probably seen this happen. Someone gets a big bonus, or a tax refund, or even a huge inheritance, and a year later they're back where they started, sometimes worse off. That's because money without habits is like pouring water into a bucket full of holes. Unless you change the way you handle it daily, it leaks out. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, says wealth isn't measured by how much you make but by how long you could survive if you stopped working today. And that survival time comes from assets, things that put money in your pocket whether you're working or not. The daily habit I'm talking about is the act of building or buying an asset every single day, no matter how small. This isn't just theory, it's how people actually climb out of scarcity. Let me take you back to a time I was dead broke. I was juggling school and a part-time job earning the equivalent of about $150 a month. After rent and transport, I had maybe $20 left. It felt like being stuck in quicksand. But instead of spending all that $20 on snacks or data plans, I started using a slice of it, sometimes just $5, to do something that might pay me back later. One day it was buying a used design book for $8. Another day it was signing up for a free online class and using that $5 to print materials. Tiny steps, nothing glamorous. But within months, the skills I learned let me pick up small freelance gigs. My first gig paid me $50. That $50 became my asset fund. The cycle began. This is why doing it daily matters. When you take a portion of whatever you get, whether it's $5 from a tip jar or $2,000 from a salary, and you direct it to something that builds or earns, you're shifting your identity from consumer to builder. You start seeing opportunities differently. You stop thinking only in terms of, what can I buy? And start thinking, what can I create? What can I own? That's the mindset difference between poor and rich, even before the bank balance shows it. Think of two co-workers, same pay, same city. One of them, every payday, takes $10 to buy fast food and the latest trending gadget on credit. The other takes that same $10 to buy supplies to make handmade candles, or to invest in a micro-share stock app, or to pay for an online workshop. After 6 months, one has some cool gadgets and empty pockets, the other has a small but growing candle business and a new skill. Same income, completely different future. That's the power of the daily habit. People underestimate small actions. They say, what difference can $5 make? But the truth is $5 is less important than the habit. Because habits scale. The first day you may invest only $5. By day 90, you're automatically thinking, how can I make an extra 20 today to invest? You become opportunity sensitive. You start noticing a neighbor who needs help with their social media. You realize your aunt has a small shop that needs a better logo. Those little gigs and side hustles are the stepping stones to more assets. Kiyosaki tells the story of how his rich dad had him work for free so he could learn to see opportunities instead of only wages. That's exactly what this daily practice does. When you spend at least a sliver of your energy and money each day on something that builds, You're teaching yourself to stop being only a worker and start being an owner. And ownership is what breaks the poverty cycle. Let's look at a real-world example. Maria is a single mom earning about $500 every 2 weeks at a cafe. Life is tight. She decides to take $20 from each paycheck to buy ingredients for specialty cupcakes. She sells them to co-workers. Within 3 months she's making an extra $100 a week. She uses part of that to buy a cheap online course on food photography, starts an Instagram page, and slowly builds a client base for small events. A year later she's still at the cafe part-time, but her cupcake business now nets her $1,000 a month. She's not a millionaire yet, but she's broken the cycle, because every day she was building instead of only spending. Contrast that with John, her co-worker, who also earns $500 every 2 weeks. He spends every cent on bills and entertainment. He's still stressed, still broke, still convinced life is unfair. The difference isn't luck or education, it's the daily choice to build rather than consume. This daily habit also makes failure less scary. If you're investing small, consistent amounts of money or time into building assets, failure becomes tuition instead of tragedy. You lose $5 on a small experiment. You learn something. That knowledge pays off later. Over time you see patterns, gain confidence, and make smarter moves. That's how you grow. And every time you repeat the cycle, you're building invisible momentum that compounds just like interest. Another overlooked benefit is how this practice changes your self-image. Every day you do something to build an asset, you're voting for the identity of a builder, an investor, a creator. Employers notice. Clients notice. Opportunities notice. You're no longer the person waiting for a break, you're creating breaks. That shift in identity is why, once you really adopt this habit, staying poor becomes impossible. Poverty might still describe your current balance, but it's no longer your future. And don't think you have to wait for a windfall. Start small. If you only have $1 today, put aside 10 cents for an asset, knowledge, a tool, a small investment, a skill, a side hustle. Track it. Celebrate it. Do it daily until it becomes automatic. This isn't about the size, it's about the rhythm. If you do it daily, your eyes open. You begin to see opportunities where before you only saw problems. You also start thinking more creatively about money, not just how to get more, but how to make the little you have do double duty. Over time you'll notice a subtle but powerful shift. Instead of feeling like money controls you, you feel like you control money. And here's something many people forget. Doing this habit daily also trains your patience and persistence. Building assets isn't flashy. It's often invisible. No one applauds your tiny $5 investment in an online course. No one cheers when you spend an hour learning a new skill instead of scrolling social media. But those invisible actions are the ones that compound into visible results. They teach you discipline, resilience, and the quiet confidence of someone who knows they're in control of their financial destiny. Here's how you can start tonight. Write down every way you could spend 1 hour or $5 on something that could grow. Maybe it's a course. Maybe it's raw materials. Maybe it's a small ad for your skill. Then, tomorrow, pick one and do it. Not research. Not planning. Do it. Then do it again the next day. Stack the bricks. In a month, you'll already see change. In a year, you'll be unrecognizable to your old self. And in 5 years, you'll look back and wonder why you didn't start sooner. That's the power of compounding habits. It sneaks up on you like compound interest, but with skills, networks, and confidence, not just dollars. That's the real secret behind the quote, "It's impossible to stay poor if you do this every day." It's not about the magic of money itself. It's about turning a tiny, daily choice into an unbreakable identity. Money flows to builders because builders create value. When you're creating value daily, even on a small scale, you stop being at the mercy of wages and start generating your own streams. And once you're in that mindset, staying poor just isn't possible anymore. So tomorrow morning, before you even brush your teeth, ask yourself, what small thing can I do today to build, not just spend? Then do it. Day after day. Because the day you start building, even with pennies, is the day you stop being poor, forever. And remember, every dollar, every hour, every small step is a vote for the future version of you that you want to live as, rich in skills, rich in assets, rich in opportunity. That future is waiting. All you have to do is start building it today.